justice and peace, and equality.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. And today we have Miss Ernise Cummings. That's Ernise Cummings, how to do business with the government. How you doing, Miss Cummings?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Awesome. It's an honor to have you on our show. You heard so much about you, saw the great things you're doing. Who is Ernise Cummings? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, Ernise Cummings is a girl from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
And lived overseas a little bit in my life.
Right.
I've always had the passion to help other people. I'm from a family of 7, 6 girls and 1 brother.
Okay.
I have 3 amazing children. I have 14 grandchildren and 4 great.
Awesome. Now, I know you have an organization. You work hard in the community. You work hard with helping other people. Mm-hmm. Secret Miracles, right?
Yes.
Tell us how Secret Miracles got started. Tell us what it's all about, and kind of direct us in what led you down that path.
Okay, Secret Miracles got started when I was a single parent.
Okay.
And I had my 3 children, and I was trying to figure out what I needed to do to make sure they graduated from high school.
Wow.
With all of the proper credits and everything that they needed.
Okay.
So myself and a couple of my girlfriends, we started a little, meeting where we would talk to young kids about, do you have your right credits?
Right.
Do you know what college you want to go to? And it formed a bond. So later on, after my kids grew up, the kids would still call and refer me.
Okay.
So in 2000 and, way before then, I'm going to have to say 1997.
Okay.
When I came back from Spain, we started working with the young kids in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So in 2009, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia.
All right.
And I had a guy doing my taxes. And he would see that I was helping kids financially, and he told me, he said, you need to open a nonprofit.
Wow.
And I said, really? So I decided that I was going to open it. I knew nothing about it.
Okay.
So what I ended up doing was going to SBA.
Okay.
SCORE, who
Okay.
I am a certified mentor now with. I went to SBA and they assigned me a mentor. A mentor.
Okay.
And the mentor took me to a little conference about starting your business, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So as we were at the business conference, I met a lot of people, but I was like, I don't know which way to go with this.
Right.
So I had the opportunity to sit down with a bunch of businessmen and women.
Okay.
And told them what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And when I got up and got ready to walk out the door, this female black attorney walked up to me and gave me her card. And she said, I need you to come and see me.
Okay.
So I went to her office, which is downtown Atlanta, in one of the high rises, and I was like, wow, am I out of the zone where I need to be? So she sat down and we talked about my nonprofit.
Okay.
And she said, okay, she said, I'm gonna work up some stuff for you, and when you come back, we'll discuss it.
Right on.
So when I went back, I was sitting at a huge conference table overlooking Atlanta, and she pushed this paper and she said, this is your strategic plan.
Okay.
And on the back, it had an invoice for like $15,000. And I said, wait a minute. I didn't tell you I had money to pay for this.
Right.
And she said, calm yourself down. I'm going to pro bono you.
Wow.
And she set up my whole nonprofit.
Wow.
So that's how that got started. And from there, I hired my board members, and we started working in the community, helping students understand what it means to be prepared for college, entrepreneurship, and anything else that they might need.
Now, I want to go back to when you being a single parent and how what were some of the challenges that you faced to make you say, hey, all right, I got these kids. I got 3 kids, right? Mm-hmm. What kind of pushed you to say, I know I want to help my kids, but okay, now I want to help others?
Well, what pushed me to say I wanted to help my kids is because I didn't want them staying with me for the rest of their life. That was the first thing.
Right.
The second thing is, in New Orleans at that time, the gang members were starting up. And I did not want my kids to be a part of the gangs. So I had to make a decision. Do I want them on the right side of the fence or the wrong side of the fence?
Wow.
So being raised by my grandfather, who was a Baptist minister, he had to be on the right side of the fence. Because when I came up, I didn't have money for college. But I got a scholarship to Loyola University, which is a very prestigious university in New Orleans off St. Charles, right next to Tulane University. So I was able to go to Loyola University off a scholarship, and people helped me. So back to my kids. So my kids was already smart. So I sat down with their counselor and said, what do they need? And when they told me, then I just pressed forward, of course, with the ladies that was helping the other kids in the community. Right. So having experience being a single parent and not knowing what to do, where to find the information, that also propelled me to open up Secret Miracles. So that we could reach back and help those parents as well.
Wow. So did you start Secret Miracles in New Orleans? Because I know New Orleans has a high poverty and lack of education rate. So did you start that in New Orleans? And like, what was some of the impact you made to kind of build ground, to build value behind your organization?
Well, I didn't start it in New Orleans, not the actual name. We always did help the kids. You know, with
just out of your heart.
Yeah, out of my heart. A lot of the ladies too. It officially got started here in Atlanta, Georgia on June the 17th, I believe, 2014. That's when it got started on paper. Okay. Now, what were some of the struggles for the kids like in New Orleans? I know before you got started, because I know with the gang violence, with the you know, New Orleans is I know everybody feels at home, but working with other people's kids and single parents, it kind of like, okay, why are you teaching my child? It's like, what type of pushback did you have working with some of those kids in the community, and what some of the obstacles that you overcame doing that? Well, to be honest, we really didn't have pushback because a lot of the kids, the parents wasn't involved. So they were happy that someone, you know, had their kid coming over, taking their kid somewhere like to the museum and stuff like that, because it gave their children an outlet. So in New Orleans, there's definitely a lot of poverty. I lived with my grandfather until I was age 13. My grandmother passed, and he could not take care of me, my sister, my oldest brother. And my mom, who had the other 4 kids, lived across the street with my great-grandparent. And, well, my great-grandmother. And by the way, she was deaf. She caught meningitis at the age of 18, and one of the consequences was she became deaf. But she had 7 children, and she raised all of us. But when my grandmother passed, we had to go live in the Florida projects. And living in the Florida project was no easy thing because you're the new kid on the block. You know, everybody want to bully you, but we was from the little 9, don't mind dying, so we handled our stuff, So the challenges of being in poverty in New Orleans is just like anywhere else. Unless there is an outlet for you to do something, then you're going to do other things.
Most definitely.
So even though we was in the project, there was things for us to do. You know, the swimming pool. Anybody that lived in low income, you always had the swimming pool. You always had the basketball court. You always had the other places where kids can go in the afternoon, etc. So we had the same thing, but not on the level as the kids who came from homes that had money. So when you speak about challenges for children, I believe all kids have a challenge because some rich kids have a challenge.
Most definitely.
But I believe that if they have the proper outlet, and we adults take an interest in them, I think we can help them further their journey.
Most definitely. Now, what actually got you from New Orleans to Atlanta? Because I have a lot of friends who have come from New Orleans, and they came to New Orleans based on Katrina. Was that your same experience?
No.
Like, so you moved to Atlanta on your own and kind of like, hey, I'm gonna start this nonprofit. What was it like?
No, I got to Atlanta through working with the federal government. So I started working with the federal government in 1977. And I left New Orleans and went overseas to Spain with my 3 children. And when I came back to New Orleans because my mom was ill, that was in 2000, then I figured I didn't want to stay there. So I knew the way to get back to to Spain, was to go to D.C. Because that's the path off of D.C. to get back over there. But lo and behold, my kids did not want to go back overseas. They had met friends, et cetera, et cetera. So we moved to Chesapeake, Virginia. And that's where I stayed for a couple of years. And then I got the desire wanting more. So I relocated to Washington, D.C. And from there, I met a man that was telling me about being working for the Army Corps of Engineers. And I said, okay, because by that time I was like a GS 13, I guess, if you know numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
The government have certain grades. You know, you can go in from a GS3 all the way to a GS15, and then being a senior executive service.
Okay.
So long story short, I was in D.C.
Okay.
But I was commuting back on the weekends, going to Chesapeake because my youngest daughter was in college at Virginia Wesleyan.
Okay.
So I would go back and check on her, then go back to D.C.
Right.
So there was a position, it was called a deputy park for the Army Corps of Engineers. Well, remember, I was in D.C.
Yes.
So one of my friends, he was like, you could do that job. And I was like, what? I said, that's in Atlanta. And he was like, well, your daughter is in Atlanta because my oldest daughter was at Spelman College.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't know. So played around with it.
Okay.
And at the time, my husband now, I was visiting him in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? I don't know. So my friend actually submitted my application for me.
And did it pro bono.
And sent the application to the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
Who, the day I came up here to visit my now husband, they called me for an interview.
Wow.
So I had to go to TJ Maxx and get me a brown suit.
Yes.
And some heels.
Okay.
And I went on the interview.
All right.
And when I got back to D.C., I got the phone call on my birthday, which is March 23rd.
Okay.
And they offered me the position.
Wow.
And that's how I came to Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. Phenomenal story. And all of this was so much on your heart. You know, raising a single mother, coming back to redemption, your husband finding you, and things coming back full circle. Now, I want to go back to where you mentioned the young lady who had, you know, did the $15,000, set your nonprofit up. The attorney. She was an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel? What did you feel like when she did that? And what was your plans when you walked out of the room and she said, "Hey, this is $15,000 worth of work, pro bono"?
Yes.
What type of fire did that light in you?
Well, it gave me the door to just go forward and do the nonprofit.
Okay.
Because by her setting it up, which is something I didn't know how to do, all that anxiety and how do I do this, that was all taken away.
Right.
So I was able to walk out that door and start the nonprofit. All I had to do was hire my board members who are still with me till this day, and we laid down the plan and we just got to work in the community. Wow.
Now, when I'm listening to this story, I'm listening to relationships, connections, building bridges with, you know, connections with meeting other people and kind of all the dots, I's dotted and T's crossed. What does it mean? What does relationship, connection, what type of value does that play into your overall big scheme of Ernise Cummings?
Well, for me, relationships are important.
Okay.
Because you can never do anything by yourself.
Right.
You always need somebody to help you.
Right.
And you know how they say you're not on the island? Well, you're definitely not on the island, especially when you're dealing with small business.
Yes.
So for me, as Ernise Cummings, I deal with a lot of people.
Okay.
So I meet new people every day.
Wow.
And a lot of times people that I meet new, we become partners. We build relationships, which helps fuel the businesses that I have, which is Secret Miracles, Inc., Ernise Cummings, LLC, and also being a corporate partner with an amazing organization called Women into Networking.
Man, we're going to talk about Women into Networking and Ernise Cummings, LLC.com, Secret Miracles. You guys stay tuned. We got to go to a commercial break. We got to recognize our sponsors. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village Podcast, where change starts with conversation. We got Ernise Cummings in the building.
Justice and peace and equality. Now the world they will see. That's why.